supermarket, to go to the supermarket, you will also cross the street, you will see different shops, you will see different advertising, and many of them are also coming from Ritrama product, because we are active not only for shop windows, but making different media for the transportation, different type of signage everywhere, billboard, advertising and promotion. So it means Ritrama products are almost everywhere in the city as well. So this is the global presence, as I was speaking before. We have 11 production centers, one in China, in Hefei, one in Chile, one in Brazil, one in US, one in the UK. We have 2 in Spain, and we have 4 different production plants in Italy. So this is where we are producing all the material. What you can see here in yellow is the different slitting center that we have all over the world. And we are selling also through, if we speak about graphic product, we are selling through distribution in almost all countries on the world. And our partner DPI technology is effectively our partner to sell our graphic media in Malaysia. So what are we producing? What is Ritrama producing? As said, we are producing self-adhesive material. Self-adhesive material, it's a combination of a face film, of a face material, plus an adhesive layer, and plus a liner. And these 3 elements are assembled into our production line. You can see here a picture of one production line. This one is in Italy. So how we are assembling all this material, making the self-adhesive, and we are supplying all the 4 industries that we said. So we are producing different paper and film for the whole label industry. We are also producing different kind of paper cut in sheets for the offset market. We are producing different kind of single-sided tapes or double-sided tape for the industrial market. And the 4th division of the company is the graphic one. And even if I said you today, we are owned by the company Fedrigoni, the brand Ritrama remain active for all the graphic products. So all the graphic product that we were and we will continue to supply in Malaysia will remain branded Ritrama, even if we are owned now by the Fedrigoni group, as said before. Oh, strange. What I'm seeing there written. So let me now introduce you the Ritrama graphic portfolio. So we have different categories of material that we are supplying. Let's start from the bottom. We have different screen films which are supplying to the market. All the products for the screen printing technology are named rescreen and then a number to identify the product. We have different material for the signage, for the plotter cutting. All of them are called remark product. We have then different lamination films. These ones are called relam with different number that I will detail later on. And the main topic of this webinar today is to give you more information on the different digital printing media that Ritrama is producing, which are called rejet. So we have here, you can see different rejet material. And what I will do into the following slide is introducing you some of the product that we have into the rejet portfolio. I can't describe all of them, otherwise it will be out of time, but at least giving you some information on the most representative material for the digital printing. I can't start the presentation also before again repeating that the rejet range are the material for the large format printing, and all our media are certified by HP for the latex inks. So you will hear some word later on from Jimmy on this technology, very nice technology. Coming to the product, before entering into the different product session itself, just making a global overview of the different type of material, different type of self-adhesive that you can find into the graphic portfolio from Ritrama. This is, by the way, also coming from HP. You can see the source of this table is from HP, and we have simply copy-pasted because it was totally correct. So it's another way to show the interaction that we have together with our HP friends. So the self-adhesive material, so the graphic market is mostly produced with a PVC film. And the PVC film could be divided in three categories. Cast vinyl, which are considered as the premium qualities of graphic films. Then we have polymeric calendared films. And the third category is monomeric calendared film, so which are generally short term for the monomeric and medium term into the polymeric. This is the usual name that we can find into the industry. So the base of these three films is exactly the same component, which is polyvinyl chloride, which is a PVC, polyvinyl chloride, in which we can add different kind of additives, different kind of plasticizer, and the role of the plasticizer is to give the flexibility to the PVC film. And then we will add different other elements such as pigments, color, UV absorber, stabilizer, etc., etc., etc. So the process, how is a cast vinyl produced? It's in fact this resin, the PVC, it will be totally dissolved into solvent, and then will be casted into a casting sheet, could be a special paper or it could be a polyester, to make, after drying, a solid PVC film, which is called cast PVC film. On the other hand of the table here, we have a calendar, the polymeric calendar and monomeric calendared film. In that case, how these films are produced is through a calendering. So the resin are melted and extruded, and after it goes through a calendering machine to press and to make the film thinner with the thickness that you know into the market. If we would compare this different material with the other parameters such as the thickness, so generally cast vinyl is about 50 micron, while the calendared film, the polymeric are generally at 75 micron, while the monomeric are between 80 up to 100 micron. These are the typical thicknesses that you can find into the market. Another difference between all these three families is the flexibility. And the cast vinyl are the most conformable. So it means this is the ideal material for the car wrapping, because this film could adapt to any kind of three-dimensional surfaces as you can find on the cars. While the polymeric film are less flexible, therefore we can use them into 2D surfaces or flat surfaces, and we need to try to avoid stretching, especially for the monomeric film, otherwise it may result shrinkage. Another interesting element is durability. Cast vinyl are really more durable. We are speaking of a durability that could be up to 10 years outdoor, while polymeric could last about 5 to 7 years, while monomeric is about 1 up to 3 years outside. Another point that could be interesting to be added is the shrinkage resistance. Application done with a cast vinyl will have almost zero shrinkage. With a polymeric film, we can experience a small shrinkage, while the monomeric film are generally presenting a higher shrinkage compared to two other film categories. Another interesting source of information that you could also find onto the HP Latex Knowledge Center is the different segments of application where self-adhesive material are applied, and with the different category of film that we have spoken about, so the cast, the polymeric, the monomeric, and also the perforated film, so the one-way vision film that will be applied on Windows, of course. But this is not, this is an indication. By example, if you want to make some car wrapping, the best material would be the cast, then the polymeric, and the last one, the monomeric. If we want to make, by example, on the opposite, an outdoor advertising, cast is not the best, can of course be used, but it's not the best material because it will be very costly for advertising, which is not necessarily appreciated by our customer. And for this segment, by example, it would be more polymeric or monomeric film that will be used. So this is somewhere the spirit of defining which product for which kind of application. Now coming more practically into the product that Ritrama supplies through our distributor DPI technology. So we have different cast vinyl, and the one that are interesting to be presented are the Reject C50. C50C means cast, 50 means 50 micron, so it is a 50 micron cast, so this Reject C50, and more specifically the white gloss slide and tack. What is this material? So it is a white digitally printable media, which is in cast, so with the advantage, the benefit of being conformable, durable, without any shrinkage, and make it a very ideal product for the car wrapping. Why? Because this film is equipped with an airflow technology. It means we have a structure into the adhesive layer, which allow all the small bubble that you may have during the product application on the car to escape and finalize to have a very nice application free of any bubble. And on the top of this, the adhesive system we are using allow a very easy repositioning of the products. It's what we call the slide and tack technology. And this technology will help you to save about 30% of the installation time and making the installation very easy. And the end is to have very nice car fully wrapped without any defect. So this is done, achieved with the Reject C50 white gloss slide and tack product. You can see here, by example, a nice application which has been done in Malaysia. So using our white cast digitally printed and laminated with our Relam C30. So the lamination on the top is providing two benefits. The first benefit is protecting the ink against mechanical abrasion. And the second is adding a UV filter inside our lamination film to further protect the inks against fading in order to have a printed image that will remain nicer for the most possible time. Another interesting cast vinyl I would like to introduce you, specifically now that HP is launching the new HP 800 latex printers, which are also now printing the white inks. You will have more information with the other speaker, but with this very nice technology, it is possible also to print ultra clear films, such as the Reject C50 ultra clear gloss, and in order to make a very nice application on Windows. So the benefit of this product is almost zero shrinkage onto the Windows, can be printed and to make a transparent image with the possibility to see through Windows exactly what is inside the shop. So this is a product which is sold more and more in Europe for this Windows application. Introducing you also some polymeric films. So this is a Reject P75, P for polymeric, 75 for the thickness, so it is the rigid P75 series. And here you can see two different products that we have into this range of polymeric. We have more product, but this is at least two that you should know. So these two films are white gloss with a permanent adhesive, a permanent gray adhesive, and both of them are coated with a SB, means solvent-based adhesive. What's the benefit of a solvent-based adhesive? It's the top adhesive technology you can find into the market and will make this adhesive really resistant to water. It means you can make a wet installation on windows without having any whitening of the adhesive, and the adhesive keep all its original strength, and will also resist to all the humidity, because we know Malaysia, I visited a couple of times Malaysia, and Malaysia, a lot of temperature and a lot of humidity, and that's why it's important to have this feature on our adhesives. You can see here some example of realization which has been done on bus, on vans, and on cars with the polymeric rigid 75. Then our third big category are the monomeric digitally printable media. They are called rigid M100 series. M intends for monomeric, 100 intends for 100 micron. And this range is where you can find almost all possible media, because we have a very wide portfolio where we have white films, clear film, ultra clear films, which are available either in gloss or with a matte finish. We have this product available either with a water-based adhesive or a solvent-based adhesive system, and with different adhesion power, going down to the ultra removable adhesives, so with a very low adhesion, to the removable one, up to the permanent, or even to the high-tack adhesive. And it's not the end. All these adhesives are also available either in clear, so in transparent version, or in gray version to have an extra opacity, or even into black to be completely block out. So these are the three different type of color of adhesive we are providing, and all these media are available in a lot of widths that could be from 1.05 up to 1.60 meter. And all these products are printable, of course, with the latex digital printing media machines, but also through all the other printing techniques available in the market. These films are provided by Ritrama since almost 50 years, so they are very well recognized and recognized in terms of quality and in terms of reliability. You could see here different products. I will not describe all of them, but we have a full range of material, and I'm sure our friends from DPI Technology will have the big pleasure to give you all the details from all this material that we have. So we have the series M100, so the monomeric 100, so a lot of different material. And we also have the M80, so monomeric 80 micron. So they are both available to make a lot of different application, going from the car application through short-term partial car wrapping to the point of sales or to the billboard, or all the application you will need in your for your customer and applications. Some other product that will be interesting to point out, which are more specialties and so more niche product, such as fluorographic. What is interesting with fluorographic is to create the unexpected. It's very usual to have a graphic application on a wall or on a panel or on a window, but it's less usual to see it on the floor. And so this is creating a higher OTC, so opportunity to be seen, which make this kind of advertising more and more popular all over the world, because we create the unexpected, to have an image on the floor and to work on the image. So to realize this application, we can use all the printing media that you have seen before, depending, and the selection of the media, of the printing media, depend from the duration of the advertising, on the type of adhesion strength you want to have, so depending from the substrate that you have on the floor, etc. But the particularity is that on the top of this printed media, we need to apply some floor talker. What is that? Is some transparent film with anti-slip property. Why? If you would walk like this lady is doing with wet shoes onto, between bracket, onto a simple vinyl, you could slip. And slipping and breaking the leg could be an issue with the final user. So this is why for floor graphic application, we not only have the printing media, but we have also lamination films. Here you can see here the two different lamination films. So the Rilam Floor Talker M100 R9 or the R10. What are these two things meaning? It's two different level of anti-slip properties. To make it short, R9 is the basic one, and R10 gives you a superior anti-slip property. So depending from the different application and specification you may have from your own customer, you could select either one or the other one, depending from the customer expectation in terms of slip resistance. Then another material that we have developed last year that is interesting to know is the first one. This one you can see it's a reject. So it is a printable media, reject all one layer. What is this material? It is a 200 micron white film, printable, which is already embossed with anti-slip properties. So the benefit of this one, you can see even it is embossed with the R10, so with the top anti-slip properties, meaning that this film could be directly printed, apply on the floor without the need to have an additional lamination. So this will be at the end more economical, and we make it the ideal media for floor communication, for short-term floor communication. Then how not to continue this presentation without speaking about wall graphic. Wall graphic, so it means instead of applying our self-adhesive media on a panel and fixing the panel onto the walls, now it's possible to directly apply our material on the walls, as you can see into different applications. To do this, we have developed different reject Deco wall. With such a name, I think it's clear what is the application finality of this material. It's decorating walls. And we have three different products. One top product, C50, I guess that you have found that it is a cast material, C50. P75 is a polymeric, and M100 also here, it's a monomeric film. So why does we offer a full range of material? Simply because the wall may have different roughness. If you want to wrap a wall and to apply a communication, as you can see here, on all the bricks with all this heavy texture, you not only need to have a strong adhesive, but you also need to have the conformability of the face film to wrap all these difficult shapes. And so this one will be achieved with the cast vinyl, this one, the first one, so the C50. While if you have on the opposite, you have a very small and surface, as you can here have into this image, then the monomeric will do the job. And if you have a medium texture surface, as you could see into this application, then the best product will be the polymeric. So here, Ritrama is very proud to propose on the market the full package from the top, till to the lowest end material for the wall application. Another very interesting product to mention are the frosted film for the Windows application. This product is into the plotter cutting series Remark, so it is the Remark Edge film. What is interesting with this film is that these film are allowing a very nice, are doing a very nice frosted effect, so imitating the etching of glass, but also providing privacy on the other side. So this is the reference of the product that we are presenting. So this film could be applied either with the wet method or with the dry method. This particular one with the airflow system will be applicable with the dry method directly. And what is interesting, you can make all this kind of partition on Windows either by plotter cutting, like this, but also by digital printing, because these films are also printable with the different latex machines and the Latex 800 system. So you can print nice images or plotter cut, depending from the design your customer wish. You can apply it on the Windows either with the dry or the wet method, because we have a big variety of different etch film. And you could provide intimacy inside or privacy inside the area. So you can decorate and have this intimacy as well. Another interesting product to mention is the igrip. What is the igrip? It is a very aggressive adhesive sticking on low surface energy plastic. What does it mean? You know, sometimes we need to apply our graphic media onto polyethylene or onto polypropylene or onto ABS, which are difficult surfaces called low surface energy, on which standard adhesive don't stick or stick very poorly. And so this adhesive system, the igrip one, is very strong and also sticking very nicely onto these difficult substrates. And you can see very nice application that could be done with this igrip adhesive system. And then just to finalize also this presentation, how not speaking about our planet? We only have one planet. We don't have two, at least today. And, you know, PVC is not the best plastic for the recyclability. There is not a lot of stream for recycling PVC. And if you would burn all the films when they will be removed from the final application, burning PVC, if it's not burned into proper condition, may create dioxins. And these dioxins are harmful for the environment, for your family. That's why Ritrama has started to develop different non-PVC film. You can see here one which are becoming more and more popular in Europe, which is the Rigid PO for polyolefin, 100 micron. So white satin, either in permanent or in a removable version. And these film are printable with latex printing media, but also with UV printing system. So you can print them. And what are the main benefits? It's not only to be more environmental friendly. Again, we only have one earth to live on. And on top of this, they are also matching the fire resistance standards. Why I'm saying that? PVC film, you know, are self-extinguishes. So the PVC film are resisting to the fire, while polyolefin burn. And the particularity of our material is not only being better for the environment, but also resisting to the fire. So this is why this material is becoming more and more popular in Europe, and our customers are replacing more and more often application that they were regularly doing with PVC with this material. Because the last benefit, which is also important, that this film have also some flexibility and some conformability. It means they can be applied on smooth surfaces, flat surfaces like this desk, but could also be applied on substrates which are more curved, such as the door of a car, by example. So we are now reaching the Q&A session. We still have a few minutes in front of us. Our timekeeper have not yet took the red flag, saying that the timing is exhausted. So I would be very happy to answer any question you may have. If some of you could tell me if you have any question, because as I'm into the presentation mode, I cannot see the question which have been written into the Q&A section. So I would appreciate if somebody would read or would mention whatever question which has been requested by our audience. If no question, if we have no question, we can simply continue. We can go to the quiz. Voila, we are now to the quiz session. Just to remind, we will have 3 questions. In a few seconds, I will show you the first question. So here is it. So what is the best recommended media for car wrapping? So in a few seconds, you will see the different possibilities. And what we will ask you is to answer either the answer 1A, 1B, 1C, or 1D. You will have 4 different choices. And the winner will be the one which is answering rightly the first one, what's the best, what is the correct answer. So here are the 4 different possibilities. Possibility A, cast vinyl. 1B, polymeric vinyl. 1C, monomeric vinyl. 1D, polyester film. So I will just let you 2 seconds more to answer. 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. And the right answer, I'm sure that all the audience has answered, polyester film. No, of course, it's a joke. Polyester film is not the right choice. The right choice is cast vinyl. Geoffrey, could you tell us who is the winner? Who has answered correctly the first one?
Yes, as all of you will see in your Q&A section, the person who answered the 1A, the first person will be C. Ling. Mr. C, congratulations.
Congratulations.
So you will won yourself 100 ringgit of the Grab B voucher.
Perfect. Now, let's come to the second question. Question number 2, the same principle. Here is the question. Which family of adhesive provides a clean removability from most substrates? You will be invited to answer 2A, 2B, 2C, or 2D. And here are the different possibilities. high-tack, igrip adhesive. B, permanent adhesive. C, removable adhesive. D, all the above. So the correct answer is C, removable adhesive. Effectively, higher is the adhesion, higher will be the risk to get some adhesive residue. That's why using removable adhesive is the safest way to provide a clean removability. This said, we also have, Ritrama also have permanent adhesive providing a clean removability, but the risk of getting some adhesive residue, of course, is higher with a permanent and even higher with an ITAC. Geoffrey, have you find who is the second winner?
Yes. Again, we congratulations to Mr. C. You won the continuous second prize for the second question. Wow, you are very fast, Mr. C. Congratulations. You won yourself another 100 ringgit e-voucher for Grab.
Now let's come to the third question. Question number 3. Ritrama large format printing media are compatible with which printing technology? Here again, please answer 3A, 3B, 3C, or 3D. And here are the different possibilities. A, latex. B, solvent and eco-solvent. C, UV. D, all the above. And the right answer is all the above. Of course, our media are compatible with the latex printing technology. This is why we are together with HP into this webinar to introduce you all this material. So it is the case, they are certified latex printable, but on top of this, if you would have some older machine with solvent or eco-solvent, this will work as well with UV printing technology. And the winner, Geoffrey?
So for the question number 3, the winner goes to Mr. Chu, Alvin Chu. Congratulations, Mr. Chu. You won yourself a 100 ringgit Grab e-voucher.
Congratulations. So voilà, this is ending the presentation from Ritrama. So what I will do, I will now give back the word to Jimmy from HP, and he will continue to make this the seminar. Voilà.
Okay, good. Thank you, Daniel. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jimmy from HP, and on behalf of HP, we would like to thank you for taking the time to join us. And we would also like to thank DPI, right, and the great team they have here for hosting today's webinar, together with also with the Ritrama team, right, Daniel, thank you, right. Today we are actually very happy to share with you the new HP Latex 700 and 800 series printer. Now, for information, Latex was actually introduced back in, I think, 2010. So it's about already 11 years old. And, you know, so 11 years ago, we had our first Latex. And today, this new Latex 700, 800 is already our 4th generation roll-to-roll printer. And now we have this new white ink, right? So we're very excited, okay? And we can't wait to share with you what are the new features that we have, right? Okay, so as you can see, printers has a lot of features, and this new Latex 700 and 800 series actually has 3 main value proposition. Number 1 is basically to create new or high value jobs, right? For example, soft signage, you can go into decorative, you can go into wall coverings or even window graphics, right? Number 2, the second value proposition is basically it can help you to beat your deadline, because this is actually a slightly faster printer, right, from the previous generation. And number 3, it can also give you a very good sustainable edge, right? So let's just go in details quickly on each of these value propositions. So in respect with creating high value jobs, right, with this new whitest white ink from HP, the ink actually does not chip off or even turn yellow over time. So this can ensure that you have high, you can get high value jobs, okay, and you can also deliver without fail, right? So now let's look at the advantages of the white latex inks. Now, definitely easy installation is a must, right? The whitest white ink can also help to avoid laminating issues. You can definitely create a niche for your business among your customers, and therefore it can definitely help you to grow your business consistently, because white is not new, as you know, and a lot of people has been asking for a row-to-row white ink from HP latex, right? Okay, so let's look at the white ink itself. This white ink printer actually has two very automated stuff. One is this thing called automatic recirculation system, like what you can see on the video, and also an automatic printhead rotation chamber, right? And basically these two function is to help to reduce manual purging and also to prevent ink clog. As you're aware, white ink is actually more dense, so we definitely need to have this automated system instead of the manual cleaning, purging, or even ink clog, right? So the Latex 700, 800 printer series actually, as you know, as I say, the fourth generation, definitely we're using a new generation of ink, which is similar ink as our Latex R series hybrid printer, which uses much more higher pigment load, okay, to produce more vivid colors, and definitely can produce much faster speed. At the same time, also able to produce better sharpness, okay, so that you can print on very small fonts with very good clarity. All right. So with vivid and vibrant color at high speed, it definitely able to help you push your boundaries of print, taking your business to new heights and also giving you better ink adhesion. And you can definitely start to trade off low gamut jobs, right? So this advantage actually can help you to reach very challenging brand logo colors, right? And also increase productivity at the same time, right? So as I mentioned earlier, that this new generation of latex ink, you can print even the smallest fonts and making it very ideal for stickers or even barcodes, which, as you know, this kind of application uses very little space, but however, it has a lot of information in it, right? So the good news about this new printer, especially for those of you who wants better media versatility for your printer, because a lot of customer that uses latex and saying that previous generation we can only use a few range of paper. So now this new latex 700 and 800 series actually you can achieve using more media because it uses much more lower curing and also lower heating system, right? Which able to give you a better performance on substrates like paper or even PP films or synthetic films, right? Okay, so with this so-called more media versatility, you definitely can, you know, do more applications. So some of the application will be ranging from retail murals, SAV, or vehicle wrapping, which is a very common application, roll up. But now you can go into paper poster, you can go into banner, right? And with white ink, you can definitely, you know, venture much more into application like window graphics or even reflective stickers and things like that. Of course, not forgetting we always have the Deco side, wall covering canvas, or even going into textile, right? So with regards to this increased productivity, talking about beating the deadlines, right? This new printer actually have the printhead itself actually have 50% more nozzles, okay, and it can also allow you to do a lot of reprints capability. Maybe later my colleague during the live demo, we will get him to show these two function during the live session, right? So this printer actually also have a new function which we call it HP PrintOS to manage your job remotely. Okay, so that you don't have to worry about, you know, meeting your deadlines regardless where you are. So here are the benefits of PrintOS. Now, PrintOS is not new. We started PrintOS when we had the Deco devices or even our web press. Okay, so right now, PrintOS is also being introduced for all our latex portfolio, which this PrintOS can actually help to monitor your printer status, your ink level. These are all very common stuff. But the additional to it that you can also download job details or even costing with a history of 6 months data. For those of you who has multiple unit install base, you can even share your media ICC profiles through the PrintOS system rather than recreating media profile for each printer, which is very, very time consuming, right? So with all these benefits, right, and experience that you can have with PrintOS to basically do remote print management feature, you definitely has a better edge, right? So the last part will be sustainability edge. Now, sustainability is actually a very critical and a very hot topic nowadays. As you're aware, brand owners and corporate clients are getting more sensitive and also more aware of this importance of being environmental friendly in all aspects of their business, right? Even earlier, Daniel's presentation on the media, you can also see that they also have green solution media, right? So can you imagine that today, if your client actually believe in being sustainable, and I'm pretty sure, I'm also quite sure with most of the customer that we have spoke to and their feedback is that they also want to provide print solution that has sustainable edge, correct? So what have we done in our printer, right? So we actually ensure that our printer not only give safer working environment for you and your operators, but we also start to introduce this thing called ecological balance cartridges. So we actually discard using plastic cartridges, where if you probably a latex user on our previous generation, you realize that all our ink cartridges, okay, is actually made of plastic cartridges. So right now for this new printer series, we are all no longer using that. All right. So with this latex green solutions that HP we have, okay, we want to provide a better and greener solution for your clients. Okay, the 4th generation ink is actually has much more innovation, okay, than the previous inks to drive greater sustainable impact, right? So how can we make this safer operation, right, for you? So first of all, as you know, or maybe you're not aware, HP latex ink is actually a water-based ink and is designed to avoid any hazards associated with maybe solvent or eco-solvent, UV or even UV gel inks, right? So for example, HP latex ink actually do not release any HAPs. They call it hazardous air pollutants, right? And we know that HAPs are actually known or suspect to cause cancer or any other serious effects, such as reproductive defects or even birth defects, right? So besides, HP latex ink is also avoid using reactive monomer chemicals, which this can be found in UV inks, which can contains acrylates, or actually a lot of people just know it as skin allergy, where you most of the time, UV printing operation or even maintenance, proper precaution are required, like wearing masks or even wearing gloves, example. So how does sustainable able to help you create more opportunity? So first of all, you know that there's this thing called UL Eco Logo, right? So this UL Eco Logo certification actually helps to give the brand owner or even corporate clients, for those who wants, has very strict environmental performance standard, or even always have concern in regards to human health criteria. So HP latex ink actually have a certification for this. And the next certification, we call it UL Green Guard Gold. So this Green Guard Gold is actually to demonstrate that, the ink actually has very low chemical emission for indoor air quality, especially for finished print. So that when you finish doing your prints, you can basically do a wallpaper without you doing any waiting time, which currently we experience that many cases where they are printing on other technology, there's this thing called waiting time, and they need to let it air before they can start the wallpaper for the room. So HP Latex Ink is actually also compliant with toy safety directives. This directive is actually more towards, no doubt, towards Canada or US or even Europe, but these countries also have international brands that also relevant to us in Malaysia. And these companies actually need to ensure that the toy safety directives actually screen for all these problematic heavy metals, right? Or even checking for amines or even colorants, which our HP 4th generation latex ink do not contain any of these chemical. So to wrap up and to recap, you based on what I just shared earlier, no doubt there's a lot of key features that I'm saying here. Definitely to meet the 3 value proposition that we mentioned earlier, to create high value jobs for you, or even to meet your deadlines, and lastly to give you a sustainable age, is actually very important, right? So today we have a lot of install base, and question is always why I want to upgrade. So definitely faster speed is one, media versatility is second, and lastly is that now that we have white ink, right, can definitely go into high value application. So then for those of you who maybe do not have a latex and are now looking into investing a new machine, maybe after the lockdown is over, you want to explore into new application, right? This new latex can actually help to expand high value jobs and help you to, go into more profitable application with the white ink, like stickers or even window graphics, and definitely give you much more safer operations than UV or solvent, right? So this actually completes, our latex portfolio, right? With the 700, 800 series, no doubt it's a 1.6 meter roll to roll white ink printer, but not forgetting we also have our entry model, which is a 54-inch or even 60-inch 6-color latex printer. We also have our 3.2 meter latex printer, and definitely our flagship, which is the 2.5 meter or even 1.6 meter hybrid printer with white ink, right? So this is the end of my session. I will then pass on to my colleague Kelvin. I would like to welcome him. Kelvin is actually our regional pre-sales and technical consultant. He's based out in Singapore. Okay, so he will be doing a live demo from our Center of Excellence in Singapore. So over to you, Kelvin.
All right, good.
Yes.
Let me just switch on my camera, make sure my filter is on. Just kidding. I don't need a filter. Can you guys see me?
I can't.
Okay,
yes,
good.
Now I can.
Think you can see me now. Good. All right. Very good afternoon to all of you. It's my pleasure to be part of this session where we collaborate with both DPI and also Ritrama to bring you this session. So you've heard from the media guys, right? You've heard from Jimmy on some of the key value propositions and also why you should upgrade or consider upgrading. So now it's back to me, over to me rather. So I'm going to be your host or presenter for this segment where we will take a look at some of the key innovations that Jimmy showed you earlier in the slides, what's been added onto the product right here, and also some applications, right? Because we are also introducing white for the first time in our 1.6 meter portfolio. So that is something interesting, right? So if you haven't had white inks, right, this is probably a good time to consider, right? We will show you some of the applications that you can create with white. But first of all, just a recap, right, of Jimmy's last slide. This is the new generation of HP 700 and 800 printer series, right? It's our 4th generation, like you saw in the slides earlier. So there's basically 4 models. Before you get all confused, just pay attention to 2 minor details. The alphabet at the end, right? If you see a W, right, for example, over here, whenever you see a W, it simply means the model comes with white ink. All right. The two other models, the 700 and 800 without the W, simply means it is a 6-color machine, right? So W, 6 plus white. Non-W, 6 color only, right? And then the second thing you should be paying attention to, it's the number in front. 700 simply refers to the machines with 1 liter ink capacity, right? So these two in front of me right now refers to the machines with 1 liter ink capacity. The other two on my, this side on my right is actually the 3 liter ink cartridge, right? So that allows you to do hot swapping, right? If you have a longer run, that would be pretty, if you have a tendency to do overnight prints, that will be something that could be useful for you, right? Also because of the lower cost per ml. So there's a brief overview of the key differences between the 4 separate models. But first off, right, what are we printing right here? Of course, we are working with Ritrama today, right? Definitely, we have to be printing something for Ritrama, right? Over looking at you, Wai-san, thank you, and also Danielle. So this is actually the Ritrama M100, right? This is the RI Jet. I think Danielle already covered quite a fair bit earlier. Some of the key properties, of course, M refers to monomeric. So it's good for a lot of applications. Right, it's a white super gloss, right? So it gives you the kind of vivid colors that you want your customers to see and catch also the end user's attention. So we're printing actually at 6 passes. You can look at the carriage speed is pretty fast, right? One of the fastest models that we've had since the previous generations. So we are looking at 25 square meters based on this 6-pass 6-color 100% ink density. So it gives you a very good throughput, right? So time is money. We are always rushing for jobs these days. Turnaround time has to be fast. So this will give you the speed required to turn around and go to market fast, right? So a little bit more about the hardware features, right? Of course, we have the beacon. Those of you might have seen this before on the previous predecessor models, the 570 and 370s, right? It's actually an indicator, so you can see from a distance what is the current situation on the machine at all times. Very nifty little feature. And of course, the ink cartridges go to the bottom. Before I forget, this is the L800W, which means it comes already with the white inks, right? And comes in 3 liter ink cartridges. So we have CMYK, LCLM, plus the white ink. So you've seen a little bit about the white ink solution, how it is a easy, simple to use kind of white ink solution that we've developed, right? That's going to help you improve your productivity and also save the hassle of maintaining your white inks, right? We're going to do that all for you automatically. More on that later. But one main feature that I really like, right, that I think is going to be a useful upgrade, right? It's basically the front panel. So we've done a lot of changes from the predecessor models to arrive at this version right here. So I'm going to pop this over here on my left so you can get a, sorry, on my right. Good. So this is how the new front panel looks like, right? It's a brand new design. If you are on the previous generation, this is entirely new for you, definitely. So previous models, I would say it is not the fastest, not the most reactive, but this time around, it's actually very responsive, right? Down to 1 millisecond response time. Just give me a second while we, yeah. Good. So again, like our predecessor models, is a touch screen, right? So it's has a change of the layout, right? So anything to do with the materials, right? It's all happening in the substrate icon over here. Pardon for the lagginess, right? We are connecting via Wi-Fi to get connected. So you could see a little bit lag, but trust me, it's going to look, it's going to be very responsive. You can see from the video, right? It's quite, yeah, it's immediate. So what else? It is a touchscreen that is 8 inches, right? So you have a wider touchscreen panel for you to, for your operators to perform their task if there's any, right? And those, of course, we also have this substrate library embedded, similar to the previous generations, right? So for example, if you are using a Ritrama material, right, and you want to look if there is a suitable profile on our media solutions locator, you can actually go to the search icon right here, right? So I've already done this search earlier. So Ritrama has around 12 media profiles at this point in time, right? So if you do not want to create your own profile, right, very simply just download over here, right? There's a download icon on the right of the front panel, and there you have it. Very, very easy to use, right? No more relying on your reseller to perform any ICC profiling. So all these can now be downloadable right off the media solutions locator from your front panel. Next, what else? Right, one of my favorite upgrade will be this icon over here. It's called the job queue, right? This is entirely new. It was never there before, right? So what it does basically, it's to give you a queue, right? So you can queue a lot of multiple jobs. Even while you are printing, you can actually fill up the job queue, right? Previously, you have to finish, right, your job, and then you can send it over. So now having a queue gives you time for your operators to prepare the jobs ahead while you are still printing your current job. So that gives you that really improves the overall productivity of your operations, right? So what else? So, and also something Jimmy mentioned earlier in his slides, right? You can also do a instant reprint, right? So if you go to a previous job that you want to print, for example, I want to reprint this over here, right? Very simple, just click on reprint. The printer is going to ask you how many copies do you require, right? Just tell it 1 or 2 or X amount, and then simply click on the tab print, right? And then it's gonna populate over here like this, if you can see, right? So let's say I want to reprint something else, another image over here. Let's go to reprint, also another copy. So it also populates over here, right? And something cool, right? If you accidentally reprint or you want to change the position, which job goes first, there's actually a reorder icon over here, right? It's going to help you rearrange, right? So I'm going to go with the glass first, right? Instead of my white chart, for example. There you have it. Just play with the down arrow or the up arrow, whichever you want it to go first. So very, very easy to use interface, right? Whether it's you or your operators will enjoy working on this new front panel, right? So this is a nifty addition that wasn't available on the predecessor models. So this is something new. Good, that's a little bit of the front panel, right? Of course, I will leave you guys with our resellers, DPI. If you are keen to schedule a demo with them, right? They have a demo unit, so you can have a chance to play with it up close, of course, after the MCO or EMCO, right? Next, let's jump over to some changes we've done to the printhead architecture, right? Over to the printhead station. Right, so on the surface, this looks like your regular optimizer printhead, right? But if you recall from the slides earlier, there is a significant change to the build of the printheads. When you flip it around, right, you will actually notice, right, it's a different printhead altogether, right? The one on the right of the screen, which is longer or larger, right? It's actually the printhead for our 4th generation, which is the 700 and 800 printer series, right? So having a longer printhead or wider printhead, whichever you want to call it, right, basically allows us to be even more productive than before. We are able to lay more inks in a similar pass than previous generation. That's why we are able to achieve throughputs of up to 25 square meters from the prints that I was showing you earlier, right? So that's a significant upgrade for this generation. Also, we've also made changes to the drop size of our nozzles, right? So now we are able to have sharper text. I hope you can see it clearly because the camera is trying to focus, right? So let me get it in position. Yeah, something like this, right? So 4-point text, right, no longer a dream, right? It basically opens up more avenue for you, whether you are into labels, whether you are into fine text, or customers require something of a finer, sharper text. This is now possible with this brand new generation of 700 and 800 printer series. Next, right, a little bit more about our white inks, what makes us unique also, right? I mentioned earlier, we will take care of the maintenance for you. So basically what happens is, this is how our ink cartridge look like, right? This is a regular ink cartridge, right? But on the right is our white ink cartridge, right? So you will notice immediately, right, there are 2 connectors over there as compared to 1 on the regular ink cartridge. So that gives you, that basically has a reason for it, right? We are having 2 separate ink bags in the rear of the ink cartridge, or within the ink cartridge. So basically what it does is, it is doing the recirculation from bag A, let's call the bag on the left bag A, and then the empty one on the right bag B, right? So basically, the printer will perform this recirculation automatically, right? Because white ink tend to sediment, right? And then it may result in some clogging, unnecessary clogging, if any. So this recirculation helps to prevent any sedimentation, keep the inks on the go at all times, right? Then you'll be wondering, right? If the ink is always moving, does it mean it's always firing and purging? Right? The answer is no, right? Why? Or rather, how? Right? Because we have a auxiliary printhead, right? So we have an auxiliary printhead, which is basically a dummy, right, that you can insert into the printer in place of the real heads. Yeah. So this is the auxiliary chamber where you store the dummy printheads, right? When you are using your white, and when you're not printing white, just put in the real heads into this chamber and then plug in the dummies, right? There will not be any purging while we are recirculating your inks. So that's a little bit about our white ink solution, right? Next, let's take a look at some samples, right? We have some samples. I want to share a little bit more about white and how it's able to help you, it's going to help you increase opportunity and also your profitability. So I'm not sure what you're seeing on the screen, right? We have very poor lighting over here, right? But trust me, we have a very true gloss and opaque white. So of course, again, this is the Ritrama colored vinyl, right? We printed spot white. So spot white basically gives you around 12 square meters per hour kind of throughput, right? So this is the RI mark from Ritrama. We just printed white. So you can take a look at the gradient, right? It's a very smooth gradient. We have various densities of white. So we're printing at 100% white, right? There are 4 different densities you can play with, right? So it allows you to create different kind of effects. And then you can have a range of white densities across the same print. Next, we also have another sample, right? Right. So this is, of course, a very detailed print that is generated from, it's a CAD design basically, right? So if you look up close, right, I'm going to give you a close-up look at how it looks like, right? We have a very nice, clean print, right? It's going to give you a different kind of effect that you might not have it at this point in time. But with white, you can produce effects like this, right, on colored material, right? So without white, this was never a possibility, right? Printing on black would not make any sense at all without white. So this is gonna open up your opportunities further than before. Right, next, we also have another mode of printing white, which is called the over flood, right? Which means color go first, followed by the white layer on top, right? So this is great for materials like transparent or clear. So this is actually the ultra clear, again from Ritrama, right? it has a very, very ultra clear finish. I think Daniel already highlighted this earlier, which is great for window graphics, right? This is the perfect material, right? Maybe the lighting is a little bit overexposed, pardon us for it, but trust us, right? It's giving you a very, very ultra clear kind of finish. Look at that, right? You can't even tell the difference with and without. So the adhesive is really fantastic in terms of clarity, right? This is another example, right? We printed a marine or aquarium kind of image, right? With an overflood, you do not have to do an entire flood fill. You can actually do a spot flood fill. So it's a matter of how you play with your artwork, right? I just want the elements of the fishes that has been flooded with white. So you just create this in your Illustrator, right, or your Photoshop to give you this kind of effect. So you can see on the illustration on the right, this is a overflood example, right? So the color go first and then the white on top. So typically it's used for transparent material, right? In this case, this is the ultra clear from Ritrama. Next, we also have the underflood. So this is something that you've already seen, right, from our test chart. So the white layer goes first, followed by the colors on top. So this is an example of underflood. Next, we have also sandwich modes, right? So sandwich modes basically refers to 3 layers, right? So 3 layers allows you to open up even more opportunities, right? So one example, right? So basically this is the illustration you see on the right, right? On the left, sorry. So color, white color, right? There's a few ways you can play around with it. Number one, right? You can print or you can create a kind of day and night effect, right? So this one is an example of day and night, right? So in the day, I can't really show you the full picture, but I think you know what it is, right? Because of copyright. So this is how it looks like in the day, right? But when you turn on the lights, right, it actually gives you a closer match with the day. So typically when it comes to light boxes, right, we know it is oversaturated, right? Because you want to give it the most punch when you have the lights on, right? But that also gives you a problem, right? So in the day, right, it's going to look very dull if you are printing a typical backlit mode, right? Because it's oversaturated, too much ink on top. But to get rid of that, right, the workaround is to print it in a 3 layer. So we did a color white color, right? So front and back is the same image. So I'm going to flip it over so you can take a look. Yeah. So this gives you a color white color day and night effect. So when you turn the lights on, it's going to give you a relatively closer match in the day, right? And also in the night. So that's one application you can play with, right? Next, right, we can also work with effects. Yeah, we can also work with effects. So in the day, right, we're going to see something like this. Let me just peel off the liner, right? So again, this is from Ritrama, very, very clear, ultra clear. I've been saying this many times, but trust me, you should take a look at this material. I love it. Okay, so in the day, it looks like this, right? And when you turn the lights on, immediately it changes the entire look and feel, right? So basically, having a 3-layer mode gives you the opportunity to play with effects like this from day to a kind of evening look and feel, right? So how did we do that, right? So when you flip it over, right, you will notice, right, we flood another image at the rear, right, as opposed to the lighter shade of the daylight in the front. So these give you a 2-layer kind of, a 3-layer color white color kind of print, right? So when you turn on the lights, it's gonna give you the effects of the night sky, right? So that's another way you can print or create effects with sandwich modes, right? So we also have something new, which is the 5-layer. Unfortunately, I do not have anything here, right? Basically, okay, actually I do have something here, but it wasn't reflected properly. The image wasn't reflected properly. Let me just peel it off first. Give me a second. So basically 5 layers, it's comprising of color, white, black, white, color. So why do we need 5, right? But having the middle black layer gives you a blockout, right, on the side B. So imagine you are in the front door of a restaurant, right? You want to see it shows open, right? But when you step into the restaurant looking outwards, you want to see it as closed, right? So this is possible by using a 5-layer mode. Of course, again, in this example, unfortunately, my apologies, I forgot to flip, I forgot to mirror the image, right? So it's supposed to be in the correct orientation when you view it. Now we forgot to flip it, but the objective is to show you can have 2 separate images, right, with a good opacity to block out the side A from the side B. So if I flip it around, you can't even see the black. Likewise, when I flip it another around again, you can't see the black. Yeah, so this is how you play with 5 layers to give you the blockout that you need. Okay, good. So that's a little bit on how white can expand your opportunities, right? Next, right, or rather the last part, I'm gonna give you a simple experiment, right? I'm not sure if you can see me correctly. It's okay, you don't need to see my face, you just need to see my hands. Good. So I'm gonna give you a simple, show you a simple experiment on the flexibility of our inks, right? We've always known for our flexibility, right? So you probably might have seen this online or right in our previous session with DPI. But for those of you that missed it, right, this is a great opportunity to see how it looks like in real life. So we printed spot white actually on black colored vinyl, again from Ritrama, right? So I'm going to heat up with a heat gun just to soften it a little, right? And then I'm going to intentionally deform it, right? So you can see, I'm going to intentionally deform it, right? So if you're using a typical, sorry, let me just jump right back again. Yeah. So if you're going to use a typical UV printer or UV ink, right? Chances are the inks might crack under such intense damage to the sticker, right? But when it comes to HP latex, right, we are highly flexible and also elastic, right? So this gives you a lot of flexibility, especially when it comes to vehicle wrapping, right? Whether it's for the curves of the bumper or your side mirrors, right? So live example, done, right? There is no signs of cracking, right? White ink tend to be a little bit thicker than the rest. Nothing seen over here. I'm not doing any magic, right? Good. So that's a little simple experiment. Let's go back to the main camera where we can do a wrap up. Good. So I hope you enjoyed this session today. I know I've been talking very fast because we kind of overrun and it's Friday. I don't want to spoil the weekend for you, right? By putting you through so much of talk. So I hope you learned something new. Again, if you've seen it before, my apologies. But if it's for the first time for you, right, I hope you learned something new. A little bit more about both the printer and also what it can do for you potentially. Right, so I'm now going to hand you over back to Jimmy, and I'm going to be here, right, ready to answer any questions if there is.
All right. Wow, well done. That is really cool. Thank you, Kelvin.
Sure.
All right, so right now we're going to have a Q&A session for the HP session that we have just did. Right. Just now I saw in the Q&A, there was some question. Maybe we can bring some of this out to further discuss. If you guys have any questions, please quickly put it into the Q&A box, and we will try to explain. Okay. So there was actually 3 questions that I thought would be quite interesting. So the first question was talking about white ink upgradable. So I think I will take up this answer. So VLK, this person VLK. So this white ink is actually not upgradable. Okay, so this only applies to our latex 700, 800 series. So if you are using previous generation or other latex model, you can't add on this white ink system. So this is actually only for the new 700 and 800 series, right? And even if you hear from Kelvin's slide earlier, you realize that even the 700 series and 800 series has 4 SKU. So one of the SKU is non-white. So so you have to be very careful, and it's also not upgradable within the same model. So if you think that you need a white ink printer for white ink application based on what the window graphics or even various multi-layer printing that Kelvin showed earlier, then yeah, you have to make the call to buy the white ink model, right? Then the second question is talking about overlay print, right? BLK, just now you also asked about overlay print. Yes, when HP, when we do our, whether it's spot white or overflood or underflood or even 3-layer and 5-layer, it is all printed concurrently, right? So obviously it will have a various print speed. Okay, when you do even 5-layer, it will be much lower, right? So each of these, I think Jeffrey from DPI will probably contact you and give you more further clarification. But I think just now from the live demo from Kelvin, you probably will understand, okay, the printer actually print concurrently in terms of color white color, or white or color white, or even the block out with the 5-layer mode, right? There's also another question, maybe Kelvin, you can help to answer, is about the fundamental of latex ink. I think the understanding that latex ink is actually unscratchable. So I believe Jeffrey was trying to explain that we are more towards scratch resistance, correct, Kelvin? So maybe Kelvin, you can share a little bit more insight in terms of with this new fourth generation of inks with the top coat and things like that, what can we do to play around when it comes to scratch resistance?
Okay, very good question. So some major difference versus the previous generation. We have a additional ink called the overcoat, right? So basically this overcoat component, it's going to help you manage your scratch resistance level. So what I'm saying is, if you want to give it a additional boost in terms of scratch resistance, you can control it with the overcoat. Alternatively, right, as in previous generations, if you choose to send the print out with a laminate, to give it whether to give it a additional extra gloss or extra matte, or for a floor laminate application, for example, where you need to put a laminate on top, laminating film on top, you can actually remove the overcoat component. So now you have flexibility, right? So back to the question, right, Jimmy, you're absolutely correct. We will never say we are scratch proof, right? Because anyone that has an intention to damage the print, right, you can use a knife, you can use a screwdriver, for example, for sure you will damage the print. But we are highly scratch resistant, right? So that's my answer to that question. I hope that explains.
Yes, good. So basically, Kelvin, what you're saying is that with this new latex 700, 800, we can disable the top coat. We can help to reduce the cost per copy and the running cost. If we know that the user or the customer plans to laminate separately, correct?
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, good. Okay, I see that there's no more Q&A. So I think, Leon, we will now move on to the quiz. Okay, I believe everybody is waiting for the quiz. So can we have quiz number 4? So this is quiz number 4. Again, the same way of putting in your answer is to put into the Q&A, right? So quiz number 4 is the question will be, what is the benefit of HP latex ink? So we have 4A, 4B, 4C, 4D, or even 4E. So we have odorless, non-toxic, non-flammable, we have highly flexible, stretchable, and things like that. So can we have the first one to answer? I believe we have the first one is Vincent Xia or Vienna, right? So Congratulations, Vincent. Yes, you're right. The answer is for E, all of the above. Okay, latex ink, we are odorless, non-toxic, non-flammable, or else there's no way we can get all this green eco logo certification. You saw from Kelvin that our ink is highly flexible, stretchable. Okay, with this new printer, we can print on coated and also uncoated materials, right? With the lower curing and definitely sustainable. All right, congratulations. All right, so let us now go to the next question. So quiz number 5. Okay, quiz number 5. The question is, HP latex printers required to perform manual ink purging and cleaning of printheads daily. Is the answer true or false? So you either answer 4A or 4B. Okay, we have the answer is false. All right, latex ink, we do not do manual ink purging and we do not need to clean the printheads every day. Okay, everything is automated, so there's no manual required. All right, so the answer is 4B. And we have Mr. Alvin Chiu. Wow, congratulations, Alvin Chiu, you're in the row. Wow, today you need to belanja makan already. Okay, so congratulations to all the winners from the Ritrama quiz and also for the HP quiz. We are very happy and you are able to answer very good, correct answer. So now let me pass it back to DPI, Mr. Lai. He will do some announcement and also do the closing. Over to you, Lai.
Hi, good evening, everybody. So we are going to end this webinar soon. So,
yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. So, before I end, I want to make some announcement. Okay. We running a promotion on the latex promotion, whereby if let's say you want to invest on the non-white ink solution, then you can go for the latex 315 or 365. This printer comes with 2 years warranty, and we are now free you 1 cameo cutter, 24-inch cutter. The price starts from 48,888. And if let's say you want to go for the white ink solution, then you can go for the 700W or 800W. And this one comes with 3 years warranty, and the price starts from 108,888. So you can call Jeffrey at the 016-3238-2582 and Theo or Johnson for the details. This is a latex promotion. And I will run a video for the Ritrama promotion. So if let's say you're interested, you can buy from Shopee now because we cannot do face-to-face business. So you can order from Shopee and then I ship to you, and you apply the Shopee code, then you can get a 10% discount. And for today, thank you for joining to us. And for HP, we will send you 50 ringgit voucher upon you filling up the survey form after this Zoom meeting. And we also will send you the free Ritrama sample roll for first 50 bags participant. So when the stock arrives, we'll send to you all guys. And for the e-voucher, for the Grab voucher, after the Zoom meeting, okay, after you exit, so you can fill in the Google form. After filling the Google form, then you can get the Grab voucher, or you can scan the QR code here and get the Grab voucher. You can fill in the form before 6th of August. And finally, once again, thank you all of you joining with us, and thank you for the speakers and also the presenter to give us a live demo on that. Meanwhile, stay safe and stay healthy, and we will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your time to the evening, and don't forget tonight got Olympic opening ceremony. Thank you, thank you.
Are you going to be in Olympic?
No, I just sit in front of the TV and watch the ceremony.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Lai. Thank you, DPI.
Thank you, everyone.
Daniel.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Kelvin.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all of you.
Remember the form to get the 50 ringgit
Oh,
voucher.
yes.
Yes. Or send the QR code.
Yeah.
Or if let's say you forgot the QR code, you just PM us and send you the code.
Yeah. Fill in the form. DPI is going to give away another $50 voucher. Okay.
Thanks.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye, everyone.